Hi, I'm John. Welcome to Minitsuku Eigo. In this channel, I'm going to talk about lots of different topics in clear, easy to understand, and still natural English. So if you're an intermediate level learner and you're trying to get to that next step of understanding native material, then this might be a good channel for you. このチャンネルはいろんなトピックを優しい自然な英語で話します。中級者にとってはいいリスニングだと思います。Let's get started. Please excuse the intro. My Japanese is, still getting there. That wasn't even the first try. So today we are talking about India. Now, India is one of my favorite places that I've been to. I've traveled to quite a lot of countries, and India has given me by far the most stories, the most experiences, like good, bad, beautiful, horrific. Just India is an incredible experience. If you're unsure if you want to visit India or not, maybe you've never been there, I would like to talk about some of my favorite parts of visiting the country. So firstly, food. I love food, I love cooking. Before I went to India, my favorite food was pizza. I think maybe 2 days after arriving in India, suddenly my favorite food was now curry. Indian curry, butter chicken, tikka masala, paneer tikka masala. They had lots of different kinds of paneer ones. I liked all of them. Not a very good food critic, Oh, could you please describe the food? It was good. It was all good. Lots of breads as well. Sorry if there's anybody listening who speaks Hindi. I'm going to say these completely wrong. But they had loti, panthara, chapatis, which I think are very similar to lotis. They might be the same thing. Papads, and yeah, so many different types of bread. You could go to the most fancy, expensive restaurant in India, and the food would still be amazing. You could go to any kind of street side restaurant for like £1, like 120 yen, and still have 10 out of 10 tasting food. A lot of people are worried about food poisoning. I have a very sensitive stomach, and I did not get food poisoning at all while I was in India. I was a little bit worried that I might, but if you stay clear from salads and some of the uncooked food that's washed in water, don't drink the water, and you're eating at restaurants, there's always a chance, but I don't think it's something to worry about too much. I think people worry about it more than they need to or should. So yeah, I highly recommend the food. If you're a vegetarian as well, or vegan, there are so many vegetarian dishes. Actually, I should say vegan is a little harder because there's a lot of cheeses used in, and I don't know about the ghee, the butter that's used. I think all of that is animal product. So excuse me, yeah, I shouldn't have said vegan friendly, but definitely vegetarian friendly. Every restaurant you go to, there is veg and another word for meat, non-veg, sections broken down in the menu, so you can find so many options. Okay, I've talked enough about food. So now talking about the people of India, we met so many nice, wonderful people. The hotel owner of one of the places we stayed, well, I guess not a hotel, more of an Airbnb house sit kind of place. He told us where all of the best places were for everything, restaurants, sightseeing. He told us the places to avoid as well. He said, oh, this place, they charge too much, don't go here. This place, be careful, there's people trying to rip you off. And we did have that happen as well. Despite listening to a a lot of lovely people's advice, I fell victim to getting ripped off. I bought a camel pillowcase souvenir for my mother-in-law, and I paid far too much. I thought I was being clever. I thought, it was originally this much. I can't remember how much, and I started to haggle with him, got the price down to less than half. So I thought, okay, this is pretty good. But I was completely tricked, because after I went back to the hotel, I was like, oh, I got this. Isn't this nice? It's handmade. And he's like, how much did you pay for that? And I told him, and he just kind of had a look on his face like, what did I tell you? So that made me feel a little bit stupid. Just interactions with people on the street as well. There was a huge crowd of people that wanted to take a selfie with me. So I was holding my GoPro and they were holding their cameras, and we were all just smiling for a group photo. Lovely little moments like that really made India feel like a warm, welcoming place. Some parts of India, the more shocking parts, if you like, the parts that would be considered culture shock, I guess firstly the trains. When we had two very different train experiences, and both of them were quite crazy. First one was a regular local train which had no doors, and as we arrived at the platform, we saw people hanging their bodies outside of the train. And I've seen that in movies, but I didn't think that was actually what happened today with trains in India, but it is. And they didn't even wait for the train to stop before getting off. They would literally jump and start running, come to a walking stop on the platform. So if you're watching straight in front of you and you're not looking to the side as the train comes in, people are going to be crashing into you, which, again, looking back, great experience. At the time, oh, this is a bit too much. Yeah, so trains were very crowded, and the night train, there was no reservation, no reserved ticket. I didn't even get a ticket until we actually got to the platform. This was about 8 p.m, ready to take the sleeper train into the next city. And when they gave us our tickets, they knew we were two adults together. Our seat numbers were like 83 and 15, complete opposite ends of the carriage. The same carriage, but a very long carriage, and completely different seats. So my wife's saying like, oh, what are we going to do? We're not even sitting together, it's loads of people, and she didn't feel safe, which is completely understandable. So before the train left, there were loads of people, local people, trying to trade tickets with each other, because obviously this system of giving out tickets, nobody is happy. Everybody's trying to swap tickets. When we go and get our seats, somebody comes up to me and he asks which seat I am. And I'm like, well, this is my wife's seat, but mine is over there, like really far. He's like, over there? He's like, I need it, my family's there. I'm like, okay. I'm like, where is your seat? And he's like, right here, next, like, maybe a few meters away from where my wife is. I was like, great, thank you. We switch. I thought that was it, finished. He enjoys my seat, where his friends, family, whoever are. I think, wow, I did it. That was lucky. So I go to sleep and I wake up covered in sand. The window was open. We're going through the desert. There's sand all over my face, hair, clothes, bed. I'm literally sleeping in a pile of dirt. And a guy's tapping me on the shoulder, waking me up. And he says, hey, this is my seat. And I'm like, I got the ticket. The ticket that I swapped was for not the whole journey. It was for that guy's journey, but my ticket that my wife had, we were getting off like later the next morning. So the guy had given me a ticket for like just a couple of hours, probably by mistake. I don't think he even realized. So now suddenly this chair has become the new guy's chair and I have to give it back to him. So now I'm standing around with no bed, no place to sleep, and there's a couple of empty seats. So I start lying in one, try and get to sleep, and then someone else wakes me up an hour later. It's like, this is my chair, I've reserved it, go away. And this happened like 5 times throughout the night. And yeah, again, looking back, very fun story. At the time, I just wanted to sleep. Now, stargazing. If you get the chance to go to the far parts of Rajasthan, like Jaisalmer, there are a lot of tourist camping trips in the desert where you don't have a tent, you just sleep outside under the stars. And we did this and the view was beautiful. We had a gentleman telling us, oh, you can see Venus, this is Mars, you can see these stars, these constellations, and it was incredibly beautiful. We took a camel to get there. We drove to a nearby village, then from there we took the camels, so we were really way out where there was nobody else, no lights, nothing, and they just brought some food and supplies, and that was it. There was no buildings, nothing there. I don't know if you've ever been on a camel, but if you haven't, I can tell you the first 10 minutes of riding a camel are very fun. You're thinking, oh, I'm on a camel, this is nice. The last 10 minutes of riding a camel, you're just hurting everywhere, waiting for it to be over. But again, great experience. And lastly, the last thing I want to talk about is the Taj Mahal, which is in Agra. And if you're staying in Delhi, you need to take a whole day to get to Agra, see the Taj Mahal properly, like stay there a while, and then leave again and go back to Delhi. That's a whole day, but it is 100% worth it. It is beautiful. It is a tourist attraction for a reason. It is absolutely stunning. We went there around sunset time, and the way the light reflects off of the Taj Mahal, it is stunning, completely beautiful. So I guess that's kind of the end of this video. Please let me know what you thought in the comments section. This is my first one, so I'd like to get some feedback. Let me know what you think. Okay, so see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Please subscribe.